Hi, my name is Mike Tilt. Welcome to the Best of Brighton. This is Table for Two with my special guest and good friend, Miles View. Today we'll be talking about Island Lake and covering Miles' childhood. So, Miles, what year were you born?
1952.
Okay, and where were you born?
I was born in Detroit in Sinai Hospital,
Okay.
and
What month was that?
March 28th.
Okay. All right, and how long you didn't live in Brighton right off the bat when you were born?
Well, actually, yes and no.
Okay.
Um, I spent all my summers, all my weekends, all my holidays, and even sometimes during the school year, 1 or 2 days during the week, we would come out after school and then go back in the next morning.
Okay.
So if you added it all up, I actually lived in Brighton more than I did in Hazel Park. Hazel Park is where I went to school.
That was your main home.
Yes,
And out here was what?
our cottage.
Okay. Okay. And you had a lot of relatives, to my understanding, that lived around this lake at that time.
Yes, my grandfather lived 2 houses to the north of me, and then a couple doors past him where was my great uncle, and then a lot of good friends
Okay.
that we knew from the Hazel Park area.
Right. Now, what were the summers like back then on Island Lake? I mean, you had a lot of activities going on. You had the Blue Lantern. Academy Drive seemed to be like the hot spot of this area. Stores uh, and so on. Roller skating rink. What was it like back then?
Well, Brighton was a lot different then than it is now, of course.
Right.
And Island Lake was kind of the area where the people who were visiting would come and spend their summers. Not so much the winters, but their summers, and the even the commercial area here in the Green Oak Island Lake area were actually busier than downtown Brighton. And
Wow.
by the way, we didn't call it downtown. We used to call it uptown.
Uptown. Interesting. But most of the things that were going on took place here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, were you ever in the Blue Lantern? Did you visit in that time period, or
Yes.
okay? What was that like? What was that experience like?
Well, it was really a lot of fun, a lot of memories. Mrs. Parloff, who was the owner of the Blue Lantern, she used to take all the little kids, which I was little at the time,
Right.
and she'd take us inside the kitchen of the restaurant and make us pizza or spaghetti,
Nice.
and then she'd open up the doors going from the kitchen into the nightclub and let us stand there and listen to the music.
Nice. Very
And
nice.
and I got to see the Beach Boys, the Four
Wow.
Seasons, um, Little Eva, Chubby Checkers, uh, Lawrence Welk.
So at that young age, did you know these people were pretty special?
Yes, because I had a brother that was 7 years older than me,
Okay.
and he was at that age where he had all the records
Right.
and
A big fan.
yeah. So I learned from my brother.
Right. I mean, the Beach Boys at that time, being that young and watching the Beach Boys here in Brighton and in Green Oak, that really must have been something. Now, that club, what year was that? What year was that put up? Do you know? The Blue
Oh,
Lantern.
the Blue Lantern was built, I believe, in about 1900.
Wow. Okay, so it had been
And
around for a while.
yes,
And about the time that you were visiting there. What other kind of activities were going on? Did they have outdoor activities too, or was it just mainly inside and in the restaurant and the casino?
Well, the Blue Lantern was it was a nightclub.
Okay.
It was a restaurant, exclusive restaurant, um, and on Sundays I think it was, we could roller skate in there.
Wow. So it's pretty good size.
Oh, it was very big.
Okay.
And if we could cut away, I got a picture.
Okay. Great. Yeah, we'll add that into the conversation. What year did it burn down?
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas from Big Cheese Productions. Stop in this season and find the perfect gift for your unique person. Gas pumps, neon signs, life-size statues, memorabilia, and much more. All at Big Cheese Productions. Visit the showroom and check out BigCheesePetro.com today.
It was a year before I moved here all year round. So that was about 1965.
Okay. And what caused the fire? What was the cause? Was it in the kitchen?
I think it was in the kitchen, but I don't think it was determined.
Oh, never determined. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, having covered that, what about you had mentioned to me when we were on the boat and we were doing our little tour of Island Lake, you had mentioned that it was one of your relatives that actually come up with the pontoon idea and built a pontoon, the very first pontoon. Is that true?
It was in 1948. My grandfather, Charles Patrick O'Malley, and a friend of his, they both worked for Chrysler.
Okay.
My grandfather, he was one of the executives there, and the gentleman that was doing the project with him was the head of the pattern department. And the agreement was my grandfather just wanted 2 of the pontoon boats, one to sell to pay for everything, and then he wanted to keep the other pontoon. And his partner got the patent.
Great. Good deal.
So, yeah, it was a crude pontoon. It took them 2.5 years to build the cones on the front of the pontoon.
Okay.
To come up with a way of shaping them and then keeping them so they didn't
Float.
Yeah, so they would float.
Very good. So, what did you do around here when you were young as a kid, other than being on a boat, doing something with the water? Were there areas that you went to, you hung out that were popular at that time?
Well, a kid around here, and this included the girls, we played baseball 24/7. We swam, played tag in the water for hours.
Nice.
We'd go down to the state park. They had a beautiful pavilion down there.
Okay.
And we used to hang out down there, and play football in the front, and
Very nice.
you know what kids would
Having
do.
a good time. Yeah.
At nighttime, we would play what was it, pom pom, or hideaway,
Okay.
and but playing baseball, we played in the field back behind my parents' house. It was Stanlick's Field, and a couple of the people that used to play with us was Don Henley and Glenn Fry, the Eagles.
Really? Wow.
They came out about every other weekend, stayed at their cottage,
Hmm.
and then we played baseball.
Wow. Speaking of baseball, as a young person, did you know the history of Babe Ruth? Did you follow Babe Ruth at all and know the history of him actually being here and spending time here in his summers?
Yes, I did. my grandfather and my dad knew the history, of course, better than I did. But Babe Ruth, actually, I've got a picture somewhere in my picture pile, Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb sitting on my seawall.
Nice.
And, my seawall was probably built in the 30s, 1930.
Okay. And what were they doing? Just fishing, or
They were fishing.
Okay.
Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb and Billy Martin
Wow.
and
The old
couple
Tiger
of the Red Wings. They
Okay.
used to stay in apartments 2 doors over. It used to be called Surf Lodge.
Okay.
And all the good professional players from all the professional teams would get dropped off by bus here, and the rest of the teams would move on to, Chicago or
Nice.
wherever they were going.
Okay.
And
there also was a train that came through, right?
right, it was a train. They could hop on the train and go to a lot of these big cities.
So what do you think, what was a major attraction for all those people to come out? Was it the Blue Lantern that actually inspired people to come out and hang out?
The Blue Lantern was
Nice spot.
yeah, and
Okay.
and there were a lot of Italians from Detroit that came out to the Blue Lantern.
Okay.
See, at one point during Prohibition, there was no booze.
Right.
However, the Purple Gang, their hideaway used to be right next to the Busy Bee,
Okay.
and
Wow.
they used to go to Canada and get booze, smuggle it over, and then the Blue Lantern actually was a giant blind pig
Okay.
because there was no law out here.
So that's what brought the people out.
And that's what brought
booze.
that's what brought the first state police post here.
Oh, okay. The one on Grand River in 23.
Right.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, we're going to be looking, hopefully, inside that building here soon. Recently took some pictures and posted them on the Best of Brighton, and curious as to what it looks like inside. Remember that it was a holding, jail cells were actually there, holding point for the police department, and just kind of curious as to what it looks like, nowadays, whether those areas of holding are still, there. And
I really don't know.
Yeah.
I know when I was little, I used to when I'd look at it, I would think it was really big,
Yeah.
and then
When
I
you're young,
went in
it's
it
really small.
years later, and it was pretty cramped.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tall, but it does have that feature of being large. So we have covered a lot, and we'll cover a lot more in another segment with Best of Brighton, Table for Two with Miles View. Thank you for watching, and remember when you see it on YouTube to like, share, and most of all, subscribe. Thank you again for watching.